Interesting matchup tomorrow. You're coming off a big win. Obviously, you got another more big games coming up. What is it about this game Wednesday and Duquesne that you hope you guys can kind of keep building this momentum here? With what's ahead.
Well, it's always about the response, and you got to respond to the good things as fast as you respond to the bad things, and that's the season. That's the basketball season, and the way you respond is you get back to your basics, you get back to your culture, you get back to your hard work. That this team, like I said before, when we get together, we've been doing a good job of getting better, and we got to hold each other to that standard, and we got to keep fighting for that every day at practice. And because I've seen a lot of growth in this team in the last month or whenever, but it does seem like when we get together, we make progress, and that's what, you got to be able to, okay, that was great, we made progress there, and now we got to build on that.
What's the key to just avoiding a trap game? I mean, this almost feels like the perfect opportunity for you guys, and not that you will, but you could fall into a trap game.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that can sometimes be a cliche. This is like you won a road league game, and now you got a home game that you got a big win on the road in league, and now boom, 3 days later or 4 days later you got a big home game. So that's how you're approaching it. Is that's what league is, that to be able to be consistent night after night, because you're going to play good teams everywhere you turn, and that's what we have Wednesday. We have a really good team with tough players and guys that can get buckets, and so that always requires your best games, and that's what good teams can do, is that consistency to go, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday for 10 weeks, and so I think that that's kind of how we're approaching this.
What did that win just do for the confidence of guys? I mean, I know they played with USC, played with NC State, but just couldn't get over that hump. To get one at Butler and to see what they are capable of doing, how does that kind of change the mindset, I guess? Or
well, winning's a habit, but so is, unfortunately, losing can be a habit too. And so you want to break those habits when you don't want, like I said, we're not into moral victories. It's a zero-sum game. You either get the job done or you don't. And so, we didn't want to come away with that, like, oh, we played great and, we kept it close and anything like that. We were there to accomplish the mission, and that's easier said than done. And you got to manage the end of the game the right way. And I thought we did a lot of good things, especially being able to get stop after stop after stop down the stretch of that game, and that's what won us the game. And then we did a good job, getting the ball, getting the rebound, getting it to the free throw shooters, all the little things that it takes to finish a game.
I was talking to DA yesterday, and he said, maybe in that first game they thought you'd be an offense that would just outscore people, and what they learned there is that no, we have to be good at defense to get stops, and when it comes down to it, like against Butler, you guys
Right.
strung together some stops. So I don't know, what have you seen with their growth? And a lot of your teams, when you get into Mountain West Conference play, they pride themselves, on winning a game in the 60s or sometimes heck even the 50s. But what have they kind of learned about that, I guess?
Yeah, I think that's been the message, because that's who, you look year in and year out, that's who's going to win the Mountain West. It's the teams that are right at the top defensively and on the glass, and because the offense comes and goes sometimes, and there's great defensive teams in this league, and you're not going to out-offense a great defensive team. You're just not. And you got to be good on both ends. And that's where we've made a big jump to get back to how we play and what our culture's about. And that's really the bottom line when you cut away all the other stuff, and is can we do the things that we value in our culture, and that's what you saw us take on the road.
How did you properly express how much it meant to be plus 14 on the glass at Butler, including I think it was plus 12 in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, because the game didn't start that way,
right.
So it was a great response. We give up 4 rebounds, offensive rebounds in the first 4 minutes. They had 4 offensive rebounds, and so our guys flipped it. But that's, that's what you got to be able to do. I mean, you got to be able to counter punch, and you got to be able to keep punching, and we talk about that. You're not going to knock out a good team in the first 9 seconds. This isn't boxing. A good team's going to counter punch you, and that's what they did at halftime, and we responded again. So there's a lot to learn from a game like that against a good team.
What does Duquesne do best?
Well, their 2-point at the rim stuff has been really good, one of the best in the country, and these guys can score, and they can really get it going offensively, and they have a great pace to them. They're hard to guard, and we're going to have another great defensive game to slow them down, and that's the challenge. Is they go really fast, and they got a lot of guys that can score, and they do a great job of attacking your defense.
Going off Jay's question for rebounds, Dom probably has his best game this past weekend. Just how are you feeling about his progression, especially to a guy you've only gone for 1 year?
Right. No, he's a great lesson. We talked about this with our team. Is that guy just shows up and does his job and does it up. And the lesson is, I mean, in your mind you create these fantasies of, oh, here's what my year's going to look like, and it's all going to be perfect. And he's had some tough times. He's had some games where he was probably a little disappointed, and he just kept showing up, kept getting better, kept working on his game, and got rewarded for it. And we don't win that game without his presence. To the way he protects the paint, the way he can, you're not moving him. When you get hit by Dom on a block out or a verticality, you feel it and you know it. And so it's a guy that just, that consistency to show up and work every day gets rewarded, and that's what our program's about.
How do you feel about guys who only come in for a year? Because Dom, obviously Dylan as well, and this new age of transfer portal. I guess where'd you lean of bringing in guys just for 1 year of action as opposed to?
But the thing about Dom is we've had him for 2.
Well, I guess
because we had him as a redshirt, and so we really got to know him and what a great person he is, and how intelligent he is, and what a good leader he is because of his day-to-day, and he just was such a good fit. And so for him, I think he really benefited to see it all, just process things. So he knew what to expect. So 2 years with Dom has been really valuable, and to have, we knew what we were losing with some great bigs, and to have him sitting there as an ace in the hole really made a difference.
Dylan has shot 39 free throws this year. He shot 13, obviously, against Butler. I think he shot 23 all of last year. What have you done to maybe give him the confidence, call it reassurance, I don't know, to get him to do that?
Yeah, that's been a long process. That's something that jumped out right away that we looked at, and I'm like, how does a guy that has that much quickness, that much push to the rim, that much savvy and change of speed and experience, only shoot? It was a head scratcher, and I'm like, we got to fix that. And so that was an emphasis from the moment we got him. And so I think now he's seeing what it can do, and what it can do for the team, and what it can do for statistics and all those things that are great, and the value of it. I mean, without those 11 points, we don't win that game. So I think educating him on how important it was and how he could do it, that was pretty valuable.
Finally, for me, is it good, Coach Jordan?
Yeah, we're good.
Just, I know, like any good team, they have their role guys, and it just feels like you're getting closer and closer to that with what. I mean, Dom feels like he's a guy that's going to get 4 offensive rebounds in a Mountain West game, and it's going to win you the game, right? Or to be the difference, I should say.
Sure.
Peanut starts to really, it seems like he's really starting to lean into his role.
Yep.
AG's picking up dudes 94 feet and allowing, Dylan to maybe take a break off the ball. Like, how much do you feel like you are getting closer and closer to finding the roles you want to see?
Yeah, no, and the development of all these guys, the value of practice, like I said, all those guys you named have been showing up and getting better and better and better, and there's a few others that you didn't name that I know what they can get to, and that's our job as coaches. That's their job with each other, to hold each other accountable to the process and loving it. And they, and that's what some success helps you make them understand that. Like, then they get excited about it. I mean, I get excited to coach them when I see those guys making that progress that we had the vision. Like, hey, this is the vision we have for you. And then when they're starting to do it out there, and then they feel it and see it, I think it gets them excited, and they're excited to get back out here and get better.
I know you'll probably laugh at this question, but you're already back on Joe Lenardi's bubble.
go.
But I mean, I guess the bigger
You're right.
picture is just, it was, everyone wanted to make a big deal about the first game of the season, but it's a 6-month season. There's 30 plus games. Teams get better. They lose games. Like, I guess, are you guys showing now that there's a lot of season left, and just because you lose a
Absolutely.
game or two, like, it doesn't change your season, and you
No
have a
doubt.
lot of goals ahead?
And that's why you schedule hard, because you get more opportunities, and you get, everything you want is, like I said, Spencer and I have had some good talks about this kind of stuff, and that's what's neat to see them have the success, because, when you just break it down, it really is everything you really want is on the other side of hard, and on the other side of hard work, and on the other side of a little bit of suffering sometimes, and that's what a season brings you. So if you can approach that the right way, you always hear me talk about the valley of death. If you can approach that the right way, that's what makes you better. And the teams that haven't gone through that or don't go through that are heading for that at some point. So, I think it's made us a better, stronger team, and